Hello. Looks like the screen was frozen for a minute, but it's Nancy Johnson. And I hope that you guys had a great weekend. The new year is off to a good start. Hopefully for everyone. All right. And so, welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, don't make it your last. Next time, invite someone else. And to those who are regulars on this show, you know that we start off with a review from last week. And boy, did we have a great session last week. It was all telling of what you guys want me to talk about, the contents that would be of value to you. So we're starting off our third season, and we started off last week with self-care. It's not selfish to have self-care. Selfishness is another character trait that you want to avoid. All right? So it's okay for self-care. So first, so I don't forget, did you pay yourself this week? So when you make an entry, make sure you put that $sign up if you got paid. Because you know what? You shouldn't just be working for everybody else, putting all the pressure, putting all the time in and not benefiting from it. Because if you don't make deposits, you can't make withdrawals. And to make deposits into your personal account every time you get paid is really one of the missions of this Sunday's Best. And our theme for this third season is you can do it. So we have the $4,100 challenge. And if you're not familiar with it, just inbox me after this session and I'll make sure to tell you about it. On last Wednesday, I had a contest and it was It's Time To. And thank you so much for all the information that you shared. So what you can do from now on is each time you review something that I post on social media, share it with someone. Remember, we all can learn something together, and we all need to always be in a learning mode. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. So the review from last week was that I've set some pretty high standards and goals for the contents of the Sunday's Best show. And so I found out last week that, you know what? We're on the same page. We really are on the same page, because I stated that my mission was to help someone else to be successful, to inspire, to encourage, to motivate, to educate, and to collaborate as well. So you see, we are all in this together. And I said, if I could make a difference, make impact in you building a legacy, in your finances, in you buying and purchasing real estate, to create income, to help you retire the way that you want to retire. Those are some of the very same answers that I read that you want to. So no better thing than to start and to finish with the same goal in mind. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit more about self-care, because it is so important. Unless we take care of ourselves, we can't possibly do a good job taking care of others. So we're going to call this session Self-Care, Looking Out for You and taking care of business. And when I say taking care of business, that's your mind, your body, and your soul. Self-care is giving the world the best of you, not what's left of you. And when you're not feeling good, you can even look good, but you're still not good. All right? So we can stop the aging process. It's part of living. Aging is part of living. But if we can take better care of ourselves, not only can we look good, but we can also feel good. So we're going to talk about, first of all, some ways to help us stop the aging process. We want to grow old, but we want to do so with good health, gracefully, tastefully, and healthy is the new sexy. It's what I've heard one company say. You gotta be healthy. It's not good enough just to look the part. So if you have a pen and paper, we'll get started. Because every part of our body ages. Our eyes, our mind, our teeth, our organs, everything ages. You lose some things. Sight isn't always 20/20 as we age, so we got to look out for that as we go. So I want to give you a couple of tips for you to write down. Number one, I think it bears repeating in a different way. We need to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. And when you don't get it, you're robbing your body. What keeps you up? You know, I'm going through some things that I'm finally, thank God, kind of got my pattern back together. But waking up every hour, every 2 hours, and getting in deep thought about days gone by or what's coming up, it doesn't leave your body time to replenish itself. So what's keeping you up may also be making you age. Number two, drink 8 glasses of water, 8-ounce glasses of water. And that is so important. Why is it important? We just don't want you to keep just running to the restroom, but you know you got to flush your system. And so we talked about the fact that the brain and the heart is 73% water. The lung is 83% water. Your skin, yes, your skin is 64% water, and muscles and kidneys are 79% water. So that's a lot of water. My challenge to you is to put 3 of these bottles, these 16-ounce bottles, somewhere in your sight where you can reference them every day. So when we talk about self-care, a couple of bottles of water a day is going to help you. What happens if we don't drink enough water? Dehydration, skin problems, your organs don't function properly. And those are big things. So if water can help take care of those things, why would it be selfish for you to drink more water? Why would it be selfish for you to say no to some people, some places, and some things in order to get your rest? All right? So sleep is important. Here are a couple of ways that I found out. Stick to a schedule. Don't go to bed one night, 9 o'clock, the next night, 2 a.m., and expect the body to be rested. We only have so many hours in a day. And usually we spend 8 hours working for someone else. We spend 7 to 8 hours sleeping. So you got to figure out what to do with that other 8 hours. 24 hours in a day. Nobody's exempt. Everybody got the same 24 hours in a day or 168 hours a week. So what you do with it can help you to look better, to live better, and to live longer. So when you look at that, the 8 hours that you work, the 8 hours, 7 or 8 hours that you sleep, look at what you're doing with those other 8 to 10 hours. That can be very telling. And I'll tell you, to stay balanced, you need to make sure that family, your dreams, your goals, the legacy, everything you want to leave is accounted for. Otherwise, if it's not counted in, it's going to be left out. So get to bed and get up with your goals on what you plan to do. Now, the exception would be the weekend. You may have a different a sleep habit for the weekends, and that you should. Watch what you eat before going to sleep. Don't go to bed hungry, and don't go to bed stuffed, because it won't allow you to get a good night's sleep. And avoid heavy meals at least 2 hours before going to bed. This is all about self-care. Limit the amount of caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol before bedtime. They will make you feel good, but they're not always good for you. Too much of anything is not good for you. Create a restful atmosphere. Some people like lights on, other people love it dark, other people love to play a little music. But whatever it is, set the atmosphere so that you can get a good night's sleep. And don't take worries to bed with you. Pray about it and try to leave it there. I know it's not easy. I know we can't do it all the time. But if we give God the job to do, which is we turn it over to Him, then we hopefully can turn over and go to sleep. Now, here's something that doesn't cost you anything to do. Laughter is good for the heart. When was the last time you laughed until your side hurt? When was the last time you laughed until you actually cried? Think about it. When was the last time? And if the last time you can't think about it, you can't remember when it was, then you certainly need to find a reason to go from a smile to a big hearty laugh. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A merry heart does good like good medicine." All right? Like good medicine. Laughter is good for the soul. Have a little fun. Did you think that having fun was self-care, could help you live longer? Well, it can. So, how much does it cost you to smile? How much does it cost you to frown? It's not always what you're eating, but what's eating you. How much more will you pay to laugh as opposed to frowning? It doesn't cost you anything. Laughter keeps you younger. And we all want to live a long time, but we all want to be in good health, in sound mind, and be able to do for ourselves. Did you know that a 4-year-old laughs almost 400 times a day? Almost 400 times a day. And an adult, the average adult, does not laugh 4 times a day. So pick up a new habit. Find something to be grateful for. Find somebody to compliment. Find somebody to find out how you doing today, how you really doing. And then find something to laugh about. Encourage somebody. Smile. A smile says a lot. When we cast our cares on the Lord, we can smile more. Remember the days of recess at school? And I think in elementary and middle school they have recess, but we had what we call recess in high school. Those of you who went to Thomason, you had your lunch either in the lunchroom or you sat outside, and as I did, it was time to socialize. And with those that you weren't in class with, or your boyfriends or girlfriends or what have you. Recess means resetting or relaxing or doing something before you go back to do something else. So as an adult, if you want to stay young, you have to find time for recess. Recess. You need time and space and a place to relax, to rewind, and to let go. Find ways to laugh. You will age faster if you don't. And it's been said, happy people live longer than unhappy people. All right? So we're almost there. And remember, sleep affects the brain. So we're going to talk about self-care for the brain. You lose it, you use it, or you lose it. That's been said. Either you use it or you lose it. So while the big wheel keeps on turning, meaning the age, the little wheel has to keep on learning. So while the big wheel keeps on turning, the little wheel has to keep on learning. So in order for your brain to, and you know, they say we use such a small percentage of our brain. It was once said that we only use 10%. Then I heard it's more like 30%. Because you know what? With technology, where a lot of people wouldn't pick up a book to read, they are using the brain listening to YouTube or Googling and reading something fast. All right? So we are not maximizing our brain usage. And you need sleep and you need a break in order for the brain to rest as well. So how do you keep the brain active? How do you keep it moving? An active brain it's why we want to be here. It's why we want to be here. If you wake up one day and you don't know who you are, it doesn't really matter what you have. It doesn't matter who's around you, who loves you. If you don't know who you are, and all of this comes from the brain. You know, somebody can help you walk. Somebody can do some other things for you to make life a little bit more livable and enjoyable. But without the brain operating properly, we have a problem. So, how do you keep the brain active? You read, you listen to podcasts, you listen to people of wisdom, and then you think about what they're saying. You take classes, you do crossword puzzles, you educate yourself. That's how you keep the brain moving and learn new things. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. So find a new topic that you want to learn something about. That's a way to keep that brain working. All right, so keeping the brain working, what is the importance or the value? The real value is it keeps you going. As the body ages, our brains tend to slow down a little bit. Our mental ability declines with age. The brain is said to be one of the most complex organs in the body, yet it weighs only 3 pounds. Imagine all you can store in a 3-pound organ called the brain. And a simple thing like rest, like water, like laughter, all of those things affect your brain. So we need to do what we can do to keep good brain function. What we eat can affect our brain. They say nuts, walnuts and pecans are good for the brain. Antioxidants are good for the brain. Salmon and tuna, and sweet potato. So those are good brain food. They're not, thankfully, they're not real expensive, and they're the right kind of food to feed your brain. So you not only want to look good, you don't only want to be sharp, look sharp, but you want to make sure that your brain is sharp. So you got to keep moving, you got to exercise the body and the brain, and this is all about self-care. We're going to get into some other things next time, but this is all about self-care. Do all you can, as long as you can, for yourself. It will pay you rewards. The earlier you start, the better your rewards are. So when old folks say, keep yourself up, they had a point. Keep yourself up. And ladies, you know, they always told us that because they said a man could just wallow in the mud, get up, put on a black pair of pants, a white shirt and a tie, and people soon forget. But women make a mistake and you're always labeled that person, all right? And you have to sometimes remind people, that's what I used to be. That's not what I am now. That's what I used to say, or where I used to go, or the crowd I used to hang out with. Don't judge me until you read the last chapter of my book. And so, as a people, we love to look good. But I want you to think about tonight the things that I've said that's not only going to keep you looking good, but when you look in the mirror and they say that if you're 40 and you look 70, either you had a hard life or you're not doing the best thing for yourself to protect and take care of the mind, body, and soul. So, mirror. You say, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the greatest of them all? I say, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who makes the choices about what I see in the mirror? Is there something I can do about it? Because all of us were not born glamorous. All right, we got to work on ourselves. And when you know where you come up short, then you know how to take cover. And so Ladies and men, fashion has always been and always will be a part of our lives. Fashions go around, they come around, um, and clothes, as they say, does clothes make the man? Sometimes it does, and sometimes we go overboard. But in looking good, think about the fads back in the day. We had the dresses. We had mini skirts. We had hot pants. We had Daisy Dukes. We had maxi coats. We had jumpsuits, pedal pushers, the wrap skirt, the tent dress, um, lot of fashion things, and a lot of those things are coming back around. When it comes to hairstyles, when we talk about taking care of ourselves, we went from the natural wasn't what we wanted, so we used a hot comb to straighten it out. And then when that wasn't enough, we permed it till it was flat as a board. Then, in later years, if it wasn't long enough, we put weave in it or extension. If we want it short, we cut it or we put a wig on. When it comes to makeup, almost anything goes. If you weren't born with eyebrows or you were born with stubby eyelashes, extensions, they're actually, I think some people are getting their eyebrows tattooed in. So we go a long, long way back when it comes to looking good. But self-care is here and now. So you can dress in the finest, you can look your best, but sooner or later, if you're not resting, if you're not exercising, if you're not feeding the brain, if you're not drinking the water, you're going to have telltale signs. So again, you can you can buy the lashes that almost look like windshield wipers, but you can only cover so much when it comes to age. There are a lot of people that look great in their 80s and their 90s. Um, I admire Cicely Tyson. I also admire Sidney Poitier. We lost both of them. Sydney more recently. And when I think of graceful, when I think of proud, when I think of successful actors and actresses, those two come to mind because they're two of my all-time favorites. And living a long time can be part of your genes, part of your genetics. Longevity, as they say, has its place. And we all want to not only live a long time, but we want to be healthy as we can be. So when it comes to style, it's your choice. You dress the way you want to dress. When it comes to self-care, you take the amount of time that you want to take to make sure that you're taking care of you. But remember, taking care of your body should be a primary thing. It should be high up on your list because until and unless we take care of ourselves, we're not capable of taking care of others. And you know how much we love to do that. Remember last week we talked about saying no unequivocally. No, 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 I can't do that. No, I won't be able to make it. Not this time, no. So if you can't find time for self-care, perhaps you need to say yes to yourself and consider self-care and Self-care needs to be from the inside out. From the inside out. Stress is another thing that eats at you continually. So try to find time. No, I said that wrong. Make time for self-care and present to the world the best you, not what's left over. All right? So that's part 2 on self-care. I felt like we needed 2 weeks to cover that because that is the prerequisite to all the other good things that we're going to talk about this year. And I'm looking for my list. There were so many great points to the statement. It's time to take charge, execute, go forth, get it done. Time to do you. Time to do self-care. Time to surround yourself with people of like-minded, who are like-minded and looking for success. It's time to plan now and take action. It's time to put me first. It's time to make myself a priority. And so I tried to go to, I'm putting a series of sessions together based on self-care, based on a lot of the 103 comments that I got. I'm going to group them together, and we're going to have some great opportunities to learn together. All right? So make sure that you're paying yourself first. And also, we had 3 winners that won $50 each. Then we had 5 winners that won a copy of my book. So I want you to think about a young person or a person that you love, care about, and want to inspire to get a copy of the $1 Million Producer, My Journey from the Cotton Field to the Capitol, and give that to them for Black History Month. All right? So remember, try to put at least 1 or 2 of these things that we mentioned tonight, or points that we mentioned tonight, into action right away. The list just was so impressive. It said, love yourself. And part of loving yourself, it says, it's time to love yourself. That's a wake-up call. It's time to get the work done. It's time to join a winning team. It's time to be grateful and to think positive. It's time. And the theme for this year, Sunday's Best, is you can do it. So it's time for you. I don't think I've asked you to do anything tonight that is going to harm you. Everything is going to help you. Janice King says, I drink at least 6 to 7 bottles of water daily. Excellent. Vivian says, got to take care of ourselves daily. Rima says, make time for self-care. Sandra Bolton says, take care of the spirit. The book of Proverbs gives great instructions to gain wisdom. Gloria Moore says, great session, self-care. Thank you. And as always, I will be looking for the rest of these so I can reply to you. I know some of my regulars are on, and I will answer as soon as I hang up. I will answer. All right? So again, I know you can do it. It's Sunday's Best, 3rd season. And I said, my mission is to inspire, to motivate, to impact, to encourage you to grow in the areas of your faith, your family, your finance, and your spirit man. All right? So, have a good night. Have a good life. In fact, have $1 million life. Good night.